Jumping to the bag, ain't coming, ain't. I saw the whole thing coming, ain't facing their past. Man, jumping to the bag, to the bag, to the bag. I saw the whole thing coming. Jumping to the bag. I saw the whole thing coming.
We are something else.
Yeah, I got caught sleeping on that one. All right. Welcome to We Are Something Else, episode 231. How you living? It's your boy Kaleo. There's CB, there's E Rich, and then it's a Black Business Series tonight. There's our special guest, Miss Kwajelyn Lewis. Everybody off mute. All right. That's enough. That's enough. Really is. How's everybody doing? CB, what's good, bro?
Hey man. Been a solid week. Better because work week's almost over. Always good to be chilling with the fellas on a Thursday. Excited about another Black Business Series guest, and went to that Sweets in the Soul show live performance last night, man. So it was a good time.
Shout out to Sweets. E, what's good with you, bro?
What's going on? Work is still working. It's still kicking my butt. Yeah, so I'm happy to pivot real quick. I actually have my appear offline so nobody bothers me because work is
Right.
not everything.
Let's cheer for that. Okay.
You got a hoodie on, bro? Is it cool?
Hey, I'm cool.
I hold on, just real quick. CB, do you have a PJ that looks like that, like a shirt?
He's out here flexing on some exclusive shit.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
This is the only PJ that I have. Someone I've been wearing.
That's not the only PJ that you have.
Yes, well, I have the colorized one, but this is the only. I've only pressed up one of these amazing.
I think that was the point.
Sweets in the Soul. I mean, that's PJ. I got so much shit going on.
Listen, we have a guest. Don't show out for the guest. Just
I'm good.
all right. Thank you. All right.
All right. And then hold on. Let me get it right. I was given the script. Shout out to Matthew C. Horn's book publishing company, Lightning Fast Book Publishing's featured artist, Kwajelyn Lewis, is here with us tonight. Welcome. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, good. Look, so you're here with the fellas tonight, and it's gonna go by really fast. We're gonna have a good time. Now, look, the chat. I'm gonna warn you, the chat can go a little left sometimes, especially this guy right here. So look, I want you to update the Sweets in the Soul Show T-shirts shipped today. They shipped today, so you'll have them in hand maybe by Monday or Tuesday. They shipped. They got pressed up at the late night at the factory, and they shipped out today. So as soon as I retrieve the tracking information from the place that it shipped from, you'll have it, and you'll know when it gets there. All right. So, but yeah, the chat can get a little out of hand. But tonight, hopefully they'll be on good behavior because we have a guest, and all that.
It's okay.
Okay. So real quick, recap how's your week going? Let me ask you that first. How's your week going?
My week's going pretty good. I am out for the summer, so I can't really complain too much.
Are you looking forward to going back?
So I can get paid. Yes.
All right. Now look, that's an honest answer. So we're not giving away too much. You are a educator in the state of Maryland, correct?
Yes.
What county?
Baltimore County.
Oh,
What grade?
First.
That's why she
Ooh.
hesitated. Everybody. That's
Kaleo shipped from the check cash and the Johnny.
First would be a little worse though.
All right.
Kendall, that's code for my house.
But that's good though. First grade, that's they're just very rambunctious. I'm assuming that's a good way to put it, right?
Spirited.
Spirited. There we go. All right. So real quick, my week has been it's been pretty cool. Supervisor's been on vacation all week. He returns next week for a week and a half, then he's gone for a whole nother week again. So, pretty cool. But CB, I told you about this story. I'm gonna tell you real quick. While I was headed out, getting ready to go to our coworkers just send off. So I got in that. We're on the 22nd floor. That's one of our floors, 22, 21, and 20 of our building. And I caught the elevator from 21. Right. Somebody was on the elevator when I got there. I don't know if she came from the penthouse or from 23. So she's in the corner and she's masked up. That's fine. That's a thing. But bro, she's like literally like cringing in the corner. Like she's like, dear life, she can't get closer to this corner than without being part of the wall, right? So I think it's just ended up being me and her all the way down to one. So me being the gentleman, I'm like, I'll extend my arm out. You go ahead first. She didn't move. I did it again. She didn't move. I'm like, it's just weird. So I was like, fuck it, I'll go. But I'm like, and then she stayed on the elevator an extra couple seconds before the door shut before she got off. So I don't know if it was a germ thing, if it was a social distancing thing, or it could have been a black thing. I don't know. She was of the Wahite descent. Let you know. And then also speaking of my African American folks, so I've been heavy back on my grind, make sure I eat right, gym 6-7 days a week, So Tuesday, I was like, I'm leaving work. I'm going to go stop by and I'm going to get me some wings. I'm not going to shout out the spot that I'm going to get the wings from because they ain't paying me to say their name. So I went by this famous, reputable chicken spot to get some Old Bay wings and some garlic prawn wings, no carbs, no nothing, right? 15. I got the text.
One of those is actual code for you got lemon pepper and you just don't want E-Rich to find out.
It wasn't lemon pepper. It was garlic parm and Old Bay. Because it's only like 1 or 2 dry rubs that they offer, right? So I got the
you can't say dry rub on the show, bro.
Oh, well, I did the stripper show last night, so I'll explain that later, Claude. I'm sorry. But anyways, I get there. I got the text 15 to 20 minutes. Bro, I get there. There's a line out. It is National Chicken Wing Day, and nobody told me. There's a line from the back where the restroom is all the way out to the next building. And there's a 2-hour wait. Yeah,
2 hours.
That's how I felt.
Sheesh.
Yeah, whatever. All right, let's get to it. Wow, no, it wasn't that one. It was one more of they're a little faster than that was the one. That was the one. There. Stop. What? Stop. All right. We're showing off tonight. All right, y'all, let's wrap. Let's go ahead. Let's get serious. Coach Prime this week on a press conference on Tuesday announced or discussed a mystery illness he had been dealing with over the past couple months. Now, we knew something was up because he hadn't shown up for any of his appearances, right? Especially Colorado football team appearances. This is where they're heavy into recruiting and signing and, getting ready to go into camp. No show, right? So we knew something was up. So finally, we get Monday night, we get on social media saying Coach Prime is going to have a press conference and he's going to let everybody know what he's been dealing with. Then it was a quick 15-second video posted to his social media where he looks distraught and he just said, I just had to make a will. So but that's kind of marketing, right? Marketing leads you somewhere, right? So I was like, okay, well, we'll see. So, anyways, he and his team revealed that he had been dealing with bladder cancer, which ultimately they removed his bladder and built him a new one. They caught it early before it was life threatening. They also said that the tumor was very aggressive. He went in for a routine vascular testing because he has blood issues. He had a couple toes amputated, so they wanted to make sure his blood was circulating correctly. And they saw this, called him in, and ultimately found out that he had a tumor in his bladder, which led to the bladder cancer. They said he is cured, but also at his press conference. Now we know his personality is magnetic, right? He's not going to give you too much in one without giving you the other. So he joked that he and his grandson were in a similar situation, right? And then he's just talking about, I'm going to depend on Depends, which obviously the next day they announced he had a partnership with Depends. But he kept this private from his team and his two sons, Shador and Shiloh, as they were preparing for camp, right? He didn't want to, break their spirits with him. But he said Dion Jr. and I think his daughters were by his side the whole time. And obviously Dion, as the announcement happened, the sons, they started uploading a bunch of footage from the past couple months onto his social media, just being real and raw. So we talked about on Soul Tales last week, just dealing with mental health or just dealing with grief with the clips, right? So now we're talking about dealing with your health, because this is what went for just a routine checkup turned into something else. So let's start with you. Thoughts on Prime's diagnosis and just thoughts about this whole situation.
I mean, Dion has brought a lot of things like up close and personal for us as on a national stage, right? From somebody who we've seen on TV as being a sport. I mean, as an athlete, but being also kind of just more personable, right? His level of coaching, and not even just maybe just the human that he is to the kids that are in his program. We get to see firsthand what probably all parents want their kids to run into a coach, right? Which is that I think that there's an element that it shows that he's just a regular guy. I think it, for me, it's one of those things, and I mean, we've said it before, my pops has a unique profession as well. And I think a lot of times kids, we always view our parents as just parents, where everybody else kind of views them for their their job, whatever it is that they do, and it automatically kind of puts them on a level of, they almost forget that they look like a regular parent to everybody else. And it's situational. I think me and my bro Cleo, and a couple other my friends, like, we're talking about now how we're parenting our parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, real thing. Like, you know what I mean? We never. When did that conversation become a thing for us? Like, we never really thought about that, right? But we're now at that age, by faith, that we're still here and our parents are still here, that we're able to deal with that. But I think that's what Dion is showing us, right? It's the element of us maturing, but also aging and doing it the right way. You know what I mean? And I think it's honorable in the sense that, he shows a portion. I mean, because you would have thought, what else could he show you when he went from having 5 toes to now having, I think, 3, you know what I'm saying, on 1 foot. And you know that his homeboys is clowning him.
8 toes down. That's what Shay called him.
You know what I mean? So I think this is one of those, it's just a good thing. I mean, on the men's side, we look at it from the health. We talked about mental health, but this is also now the physical health. Can be 40 years old and still, it's no shade to my bro CB, because he goes to work out, but you can't eat Taco Bell every week. You did. It's not going to work. It's a natural laxative. It's gonna take its course. But anyway, that I think in that sense, like, I was doing a good thing. But also I feel like the learning process is also as kids though, bro, because they're young men going through something currently that a lot of people probably don't even know about. You know what I mean? Like know how to go through. You talking about trying to go into the NFL at any level, and here you are already scrutinized because of who your dad is, and it's all about work, and you still have to be a kid and have to worry about your pops. You know what I'm saying? Going through stuff when they already throwing all the glass, all the rocks in the glass house while they hide their hands.
Yep. CB.
I think to start, definitely happy to hear that he's gotten through this most recent health issue and everything, and it puts the human element, like he was talking about, in perspective, right? Because we see these players as athletes, and for Dion, we got to watch him when we were younger, right? So, these guys seem they're like superheroes for us in a way. You know what I mean? They're doing things. We're seeing them on television, and they're doing things that we're dreaming of being able to do. You know what I mean? So, and we kind of talked about it last week, Kaleo, like you were talking about when the clips discussion, and talking about birds don't sing. As we've gotten older, man, like the whole, like just mortality in general has set in a lot more, right? Like we've had to lose people, that we grew up with, and, lose family members, that you just always assume you're just going to have them forever. You know what I mean? And life really, really starts coming into perspective as we get older, and things like this, start happening. And it's one of those situations where, who knows if this had happened, a generation ago, how much access we would have to this type of information, because we live in that social media age and everything. And Dion's honestly been great with that. You know what I mean? Like he with the going live, just engaging with people on social media and engaging with people as the actual coach of Colorado, like, with the fan base and everything there. So we've gotten to see more of him as like a human being, like he was alluding to, since his playing days, probably than we ever could in any other period of time, just because of the access that we have. So you think about the connections that we can make to these athletes and celebrities as people now, it just adds a little bit more to it. So happy to see that he's doing well, and his boys don't need to worry so much about their pops. They can focus on making these teams and maybe starting a few games for the Browns.
All right. Kwajelyn, thoughts? Have you followed this story about Coach Prime?
I did see the story earlier this week. What really struck me was his optimism and just how he seemed to, even though it was a very serious illness, he just seemed to be very optimistic about his prognosis, and everything's going to be okay. So I'm a cancer survivor, so I can kind of relate, but my situation, I don't think I was as optimistic as he was. What was good about me was that I didn't lose my hair or anything like that, but just his whole spirit of being, I'm good, I'm going to be okay, I'm going to be on the sidelines. There might be porta potties out there next to me. Just the kind of levity he brought to a serious illness was what really stood out to me.
How important is a support system?
Very, very important.
Okay. All right. So see, you touched on heroes, right? Do you see these people there like larger than life? They're always on TV, and you just don't think that they deal with human issues, right? They're above that. Like,
Exactly.
Wrestling. Our favorite wrestlers are larger than life, and then when you see them years later, he's like, wow. Like, and as we get older, people our age are starting to go through issues. I lost a few friends this year, right? That's my age. So just mortality is just if you really start to question certain things as you get older. All right. Speaking let's do, we'll probably drop the Mr. Rogers looking at time. So I'm going to talk about this one because this is us. This is us. Joe Budden expected to make over $20 million from his podcast network this year. He makes over $1 million a month from nearly 70,000 subscriptions on his Patreon page. Subscriptions range from $5 to $50 a month. Higher paying subscribers get access to the podcast along with other series like Podwives and Legs in the City. In addition to the $12 million he'll earn, he also earns millions in more in advertising, merch, revenue. Now, again, this is us because what are we doing now? This is kind of the realm, right? People don't know. This is crazy. People don't even know that Joe Buttons was a rapper. Like, this is what he has made his mark on, and he's become way more famous as the new media podcasting in his network than he has as a rapper. Right? And he had the only song I can name by Joe Buttons was "Pump It Up," produced by Just Blaze.
Yep.
But I know he had his Slaughterhouse days too, right? He was around for that too. But anyways, just this to me, this is my take on it is motivation, right? The work that you put in. Granted, these guys have a little bit more access than we do, so and they have a little bit a machine behind them pushing a product when somebody realizes they can make money, and that's all we need, right? We've built our audience a little higher than what it has been. There's hard work put in there. There's still more hard work to go, but all we need is just a little machine behind us to, believe in. But thoughts on Joe Buttons? We're not counting pockets, but just from where he was to where he is.
Probably one of the best pivots that I've seen, rap wise, if you will, right? And it's being relevant in the sense of the music, right?
I forgot, Carlo.
It's relevance based upon, outside of that song that everybody knows him for. Joe was lyrically nice, right? In the sense that he he knows hip hop. We don't subscribe to people who don't really know about the culture, and we're not listening to those podcasts. I think he's built that over time based upon like the other shows that he was on. I can't remember the one with the weird guy that swears he knows about the culture. I'm not gonna say his name because I dare not to give him any play on this show. Yep. But it goes from that. And listen, when you put the work in, I think you get what you deserve out of this game. We've been doing this for some time, and we've also had guests that were like nervous on being on here and then had the best time just because our energy, our people that follow us. And I think at the end of the day, we don't want to change anything up. It's almost like you just want somebody to see the pod for what it is and know that we can create something. We have something different. Everybody's kind of following the same formula out there, and I don't think we've ever decided to do that. And that's why we're doing what we do on our side. So, I think we just keep plugging away, and we got to put a little bit more pressure on ourselves to get things done. I think we'll be talking a different tune come next year for sure.
Yeah, I mean, look, alone from where we are now, if you go down that resume and the list of people we done had on here as far as interviews or just have solidified certain things, you're like, well, yeah, okay. All right, CB.
I think for me, the biggest takeaway here is just being able to be this level of successful in this particular game independently, because outside of the 2-year deal that they had through Spotify where they were exclusive, really for the most part, the big thing about them being able to generate all this income is that they're independent. You know what I mean? So their marketing department, which I can't remember which publication was writing this one up, but they were talking about their marketing department which is responsible for a large portion of the money they got coming in.
Yep.
This is like in-house, you know what I mean? Like they're that's, you know, how they're running this stuff. So shout out to Joe for really starting an empire in this particular space. And there's a reason why like people have tried to copy some of the stuff that they've done over the years, and you know, those kinds of things. And he really is kind of the face of this type of space, and easily the spokesperson for people doing it independently. That's the way I'd look at it.
And he even showed you he can survive without Rory and Maul. Are you a big podcaster? Do you listen to podcasts? Are you familiar with the Joe Budden stuff?
I am not.
Okay. So he's backstory. Say he former rapper, now he's in the podcasting, but he's built this media empire. And we could tie this into what you do now. Like, so you are an author, a writer, right? And let's go right into it. We're gonna forget the Mr. Rogers. Let's go right into Black business owners. Let's go right into it. We're here. We'll go back to Mr. Rogers. And let me give you the boom. Black Business Series. There's the book right there. Miss Kwajelyn Lewis, Matthew C. Horns, book publishing company, Lightning Fast Book Publishing's Matters of the Heart. Let's talk about it. I'm gonna fire off my first question. Super simple. What got you into writing?
Oh, okay. So I was in this church for many years, and they had a family day, and you could perform your poetry there. The poem just came to me, and I wrote it, and I said, okay, I'll do it. And they, the crowd really enjoyed it. So that kind of got me started. And I just kept, because I was in it for so many years, I just kept writing different poems that related to what was going on in that church at the time. So that's how I got started, and eventually came up with my first book, which is The Gift of Poetry.
Mm-hmm.
So I never really thought that was something that I would do. It just happened.
And that's kind of how, you gave the perfect answer to the whole Joe Budden thing is, I don't think he knew what he was going to do. He just started doing it, and it blossomed into something else, right? So I'll turn it over to you, E. Question.
First of all, the artwork for this new book, Matters of the Heart, is phenomenal. I don't know, did you choose that, or was that like a team thing?
It was more of a team thing, because I had some other ideas, and when I told Matthew, my publisher, about it, he took it and just went in a different direction. So he gave it to his team, and this is what they came up with, and I'm, of course, very pleased.
Yeah, very dope. So kind of along those lines, like, kind of the starting of this, right? Was there ever a moment that, whether it's the inspiration to write, or was there a public, like, I didn't want to do it in front of people before, you kind of where it transitioned to, like, you doing it in front of the church? Like, was there ever a fear of that, like of a kind of public speaking, or was it always something that you were just easy at doing?
I just wanted to do it. This particular poem just resonated with what was going on in that church, and I felt like they would really enjoy this particular poem. So I just didn't really have any major apprehension about doing it. I just did it, and they loved it.
Okay. Look, don't just do it. CV.
So, Kwajelyn, it's one thing to write a poem and perform it in front of the church and be in that environment. To actually have a piece of work published is another type of accomplishment. Can you just speak to your feelings the first time, getting the first book published, that process? And just whether there's, any kind of certain sense of pride of it being like the first one, you know what I mean?
So my son actually is an author as well. And he went to some kind of festival, and met Matthew and told him about that I had poems, and that he wanted to write a book. And so Matthew kind of took him under his wing and told him just what he needed to do. And he came back and told me. So I'm like, well, I have poems. I'm ready to go. I have poems. Let me talk to him. Let me get started. So I did. I met with Matthew and, signed on with his publishing company, and he guided me through what I needed to do to get that first book under my belt. And when I thought that I had finished the book and had given him everything, he said, "Can you give me 10 more poems?" And I said, "Yes." And by the end of the week, I had those 10 poems to him, and that first book was under my belt, and I was very excited about it, and it's been great.
Nice. That's awesome.
So a couple of us are writers, maybe all of us are writers as well. What do you like? What inspires you? How do you find your inspiration when it comes to writing?
With matters that are hard, I have a muse. So those poems are written from the experiences, with most of them with my muse. I tell people that this book is a little risque. It's not it's not like my first book where everybody can say about this kind of cup of tea maybe, but this one you got. I'm giving you a warning before you decide. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna buy this. So it's based on all of those experiences I had with my muse.
Good arc. Nice. Okay. E?
And like when things come to me, I just write.
But that's what you do, though, right? Like, just write. I mean, it don't have to make sense at the time, right? It just put it down on paper. Right.
I'm working right now on a children's book, and I maybe have about 7 poems written, and I'm kind of at a standstill because it's nothing really coming to me. So when it doesn't come, it just doesn't come.
That first day of school inspire you?
Yes.
She for sure go drop. She go for sure drop a 4-letter word. You keep on about these first graders.
No, I love my baby. I love my babies. I do. They can be trying, but I'm gonna be honest. They can be trying, but I've been in it a long time, and
okay,
I love my babies.
So, I mean, you kind of spoke on it. It's one of those things where I've always wanted to know, processes and things that get you out of, people say writer's block, right? And like you said, you had a muse for, the current book. You're working on the kids' book now, so I'm sure there's got to be a inspiration, a muse, or something that's gravitating you to write those poems for that book. What do you do to get out of, say, like a writer's block, or a moment where do you like step away from it and let it just kind of naturally come to you? Or is there a process that you have to kind of cleanse your palette in regards to like how, you're writing, and then you come and it helps you kind of clarify where you want to go back to writing again?
When I get an idea, like I have an idea that I'm trying to write about ancestors, and I wrote like the first line, and then I wrote a couple more lines like the next day or so. But when it doesn't flow naturally, I kind of put it aside because with my writing, it has to rhyme. I don't, it has to have rhythm and it has to have a rhyme and it has to have a flow. So if that's not happening, I have to put it aside until everything gels and comes together, because that's just my writing style. It just makes sense to me that way. So it sometimes can be difficult to have a certain play on words. You come up with a line and it's like, okay, well, those words aren't going to click together. So until it comes together, I just kind of put it aside, because if I just continue, it just begins to feel forced. I'm just trying to make it to get through this particular piece that I'm working on, and that doesn't work very well. It just doesn't feel natural. It needs to come to me naturally.
So are you? It's on you, CD. My bad. I was getting ready to hijack. I had a question in my mind. I had to have an answer to. Go ahead, CD. I just thought about it.
I mean, it's messed up because yeah, you did cut off E Rich the last time. That was messed up. No. So my next question, as far as, you know, because this is something that you're doing kind of as like a passion project, something that you do, you know, on the side. You have, you know, the 9 to 5 or whatever, in this case, the beginning of the school system to the end of the school year, you know. Where do you have time that you set aside for the creative process, or is it one of those things that throughout the year, even if it's when you're in school and doing those kinds of things, that if it's coming to you, that's the time that you're going to start working on it?
Absolutely. Sometimes I'll write, well, some people call the hours of midnight to 3:00 a.m. the bewitching hour, when we are most creative.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll wake up at 3:00 with a thought, and I used to keep my journal next to my bed so I can just start writing whatever was coming to me at that moment. And that's how I've gotten a lot of the writing done. Just when it comes to me, I just write. And then sometimes it can come to me anywhere. And now I've got things that are written right now where I didn't even have any paper. And it's just written on a napkin.
That's how the brain
is written on a napkin, because I just couldn't find any paper at that time. So when it comes, it's like, okay, I gotta write.
That chalkboard must be real interested in class.
No, we have a chalkboard, but we don't use it.
Okay,
classrooms have chalkboards, but no chalkboard anymore.
I got 2 questions for you, because one just came up, and I think I'm gonna forget it by the time it rolls back around. Do you have a favorite writing place, like somewhere that always inspires you, when you go to, you can write? And then 2, you talked about, we have this book. Would you ever consider doing an audible for it, and maybe having music in the background? Because you said to rhythm, right? Everything rhymes. Like, would you ever think about doing an audible book or an audio experience with some type of music in the background while you read your poetry?
I would love to do that. That would be awesome.
I may know a producer, but and then favorite writing place. Do you have a place that you go to that inspires you to write?
I don't necessarily have a favorite place, because it can come to you anywhere. So I used to keep paper just in my purse, so if something came to me, I could just write it right then. I could write a couple of lines right then. But I just keep my notebooks and things like that, and I just work at home at the table where I'm sitting. Like I said, 3:00 in the morning, my journal is right by my bed with a pen, and I just write there. So I don't really have a set place where I sit down and say, oh, I'm going to write. Sometimes I do, because that's what I was doing with the poem I was trying to write about ancestors. It's just right here next to me at my table. So it just no certain spot, so to speak. And now I don't know how well that's going to do with me coming up with ideas at 3:00 in the morning because I have a puppy now. And so when I wake up, if I turn that light on,
Forget it.
forget it. She might wake up and we might not
Baby
get
is
back
awake.
to sleep. But I mean, I'd have to come out of the room and write. But if it's important enough, I'll just come out of the room and write.
Okay. Ready.
So I asked this question to
That's true, though. Right? That's true.
I asked this question to artists that have been on the pod, music wise, writers, books, whatever the case may be. So I'm gonna ask you the same kind of a hot question. All of the entries, all the poems, all of the things that you have written, do you have a favorite that just stands out to you to this day that you know, like, listen, you know, there's certain songs that we all love that, you know, it's a line in there that just every time we hear it, it just kind of, you know, it does something to us, right? Do you have that as in a writing that you've done that every time you think about it or you hear it, that it's just that one for you that, you know, stands out? In a better way to phrase it, if you were putting poetry, if you were giving poetry to somebody for the very first time, what text would you read them?
Ooh, that's tough. It's an excellent question, but I can't really pinpoint one poem that just stands out from among the rest. I have some that I might like more than others, but I don't really have a true favorite poem or one that really stands out. I have one that I wrote that's in my, I believe in my first book, Color Me Brown. And I had my students recite that one. So I like that one a lot. My new book, for some reason, I gravitate to it. It's called Tootsie Roll. So I like that one, but there's so many in this new book that I like. But like I said, you know, it's a little racy.
It's okay.
This is a crowd for that then.
Right crowd. Let me tell you how this is the right crowd for that. We also do radio, some of us, and there is a marathon on this radio platform that we're doing currently now, the Sad Stripper Marathon. So trust me, your poetry fits right along with this crew, because this crew is they're little, it's currently going on now. So all right, CB.
Yeah, I can think of a couple of them that are coming right off the top of my head that, you know. My son did buy the books, and he's probably watching.
That's the support that you want, though. You know what I mean?
It is.
You know,
it is, and like magic and just a lot of, you know.
I mean, when we're talking about, because all the guys on this pod, we've got our own creative outlets that we have. Mm-hmm. Some of them we share. And there are certain times where if we're trying to work through something, we might just be like, yo, let me hit my bro up, bounce some ideas off of them. Do you have a particular person or a group of people that you like to bounce ideas off of? Or do you really just keep the whole process kind of internal, you know, and you don't do a whole lot of outside consultation? What's your process as far as that goes?
I keep it pretty much to myself. Just because it's a personal process, you know, when it comes, it comes. So I don't really try to gravitate toward asking people what they might think of it, because it's just my baby.
That makes sense.
You know, and when my baby is finally here, I birthed my baby. I can only hope that you like my baby, and that you don't think my baby is an ugly baby, or you don't look at my baby and say, "Oh, this is an ugly baby." But that's just kind of how it goes.
Mhm.
I feel you, because like again, we're all creatives, and we put on this show weekly. Then we have things that we do behind the scenes, or we dabble in the music too as well. And like we're so, at least few of us, are just so worried about, like you said, putting your thoughts out there and see how others receive it. And then I think right now, like to me, I'm at the point where like it's self gratification. Like I don't care what you think about it. Like this is an accomplishment that I did. This isn't your journey. This is mine. Like I did this for me.
Right.
So but congrats to you. And sometimes it's hard to put yourself out there like that. Whether it's a poem, it's an autobiography, it's a song. Hell, it could just be an essay. Whatever it is, this is hard to. If it's got your feelings and your emotions behind it, it's hard to do that. But I applaud you for even doing that, right? So my final question, we'll make this a final round. I'm looking at time here. Have you ever done, or are you interested in doing like poetry jams? Like there's a lot of them, popping back up. That seems to be the thing. Is that your thing? Have you ever done one, or would you do one?
I actually have done one, and I would love to do it again. With my schedule permitting, I've thought that I would really get a chance to do a little bit more of it since I was out during the summer, but it's conflicting with the day that this particular open mic is on the day that I have another engagement. So I haven't been able to get into it except that one time, but I am very much interested in open mic. And
good. Okay. All right, bro.
All right. Final question I have is, has anybody, I guess, what's been the inspiration? Whether it's, past writings that you've read poem wise, and have you had anybody reach out to you since you've published, that you've inspired, or have you thought about that? Have you thought about, just by you doing what you do, that you're inspiring somebody to write? Have you thought about that? Like, how does that make you feel that your internal, talent is actually giving somebody, that motivation to go do the same thing?
Well, whenever I'm in front of any kind of audience, I'd like to tell people that anybody can write. It's not that, especially if you have, everybody has a story. So any kind of journaling that you might have done, because everybody's not going to write poetry. So any kind of journaling that you've done, or any kind of life experience, start writing it. Just write a little bit every day. And before you know it, you have a book.
Mm-hmm.
You have, I tell my students, at my school, we had a poetry night, and I was telling them the same thing, and with the parents, write it, keep a journal, start thinking about things that have happened to you in your life that might be of interest to somebody else. And you won't really know that until you put it on paper and get it to the point where, okay, I'm finished. Let's see where I can go from here.
Yep. Amazing. Great to see you.
All right. So you spoke about how you are currently working on trying to put together a children's book. What's the outlook on that one? Do you have a specific time frame you're looking to try and get that one done? Really, what's the next set of stuff that we can expect from you?
Well, I've only gotten, I've got, like I said, I have about 6 or 7 poems right now. So I don't really have a specific deadline, because I have to think about what I want to, what kind of topics I want, and it has to come to me. So the books that I've written are divided into sections, and I'm trying to kind of get it together where I have a certain number for this section, and a certain number for this section, and a certain number for the last section. So I'm only at the tip of the iceberg right now, so I don't know when this book will be actually finished. I was actually hoping by the end of the summer, but it's not happening like that. It's just going to be a little bit of a slower process, just because even though I work with children, my poems are kind of written more on personal experiences. So it may take a little bit longer to do this one than it did the two previous books.
That makes sense.
Man, look, I was going to ask you to sell this book. Tell everybody why they should get it. But you know what? You already did it. These people are nasty. And you already put this has got some raunchy poems. They're going to buy it. That just sells itself. If you knew these people in this chat right here, yeah. So, but now, where can we find you? Like, what's your social media? How can people buy the book when they want? Because they're going to buy it. How can they buy the book?
So my website is Kwajelyn.com. My first name. That's it. Kwajelyn.com.
Yep, we'll post that for you.
You can get it on Amazon, but I would go to the website.
Absolutely, we will do that. We'll post that for you. So the Black business portion is done. We gave you some homework, and you know I know how you get when your students don't turn in their homework when you ask. So got some homework for you. But shout out to you for this book, Matters of the Heart. Make sure y'all go buy that. Now we gave you some homework. We asked all of our folks this. Hopefully you prepared. Did you do this? You did this homework?
I did my homework. I opened my email first thing this morning because I'm an early bird, and then I have to take my dog out. But I did my homework.
All right, cool. So we asked this of everybody because we love the answers. We always get different answers. We asked them their top 3 albums of all times, because 5 would be easy. 3 is a little tougher. Top 3 albums of all times, top 3 movies of all times. Let's start with the movies. What are your top 3 movies of all time?
Okay, so the first one was way back in the day. So I did Officer and a Gentleman.
Oh, okay.
The Color Purple.
Okay. Hold on, wait. The remake or the original?
The original.
Okay, this is just checking.
And A Time to Kill.
Oh, good ones. Okay. I've seen all 3. Those are good movies. All right. We are music buffs as well, so give us those albums.
Okay, so Can't Go Wrong with Michael Jackson. I don't have any titles, but off the wall thriller. Prince.
Oh, wait a minute. Which one?
Yeah, Prince, all of his albums. No particular one.
Okay.
And then I did Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Okay. Look, we'll take that too. All tremendous catalog. So that means tomorrow I got to play Michael Jackson, I got to play Prince, and I got to play Earth, Wind, and Fire on my my radio show. We'll do that.
Boom.
But you know what? So as we we're wrapping this up. I know you're on summer break, but we still got a little bit more work to do. We'll get you, to your bedtime shortly. So now, when y'all buy this book, make sure when y'all go out and purchase Matters of the Heart on Kwajelyn.com. Right, y'all gonna need something with that, and what I need y'all to do is go ahead and order DC Shot Pie. Save 10% this weekend. WRSE 10. Black-owned business. Look about the Black businesses. Shout out to Grant, who was on here a couple weeks ago talking about their brand new spot in DC, not Eastern Market, but Union Market, where you can go down there and get some of this Black-owned Chicago deep dish style pizza here. So, I don't know how often you get to the DMV area, Kwajelyn, but if you do, DC Shop Pie is your spot. They got steak and cheese. They got cinnamon pesto. They got what's the dessert? They got desserts. Actually, you know what? I need to get updated pictures because Grant just posted his jumbo slice on the website the other day.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
Yeah.
That is super crazy. And then while we're here speaking about sponsors, let's just go ahead and roll right into it.
Shoes. I knew that would get your attention on this show. Check out the Mad Hatter. You hit the lights and he comes to life. Doreen is so creative. She can make anything that you can think of. The ships and the lightsabers on this cup, she made them by hand. Only a crazy person would use this many stones on a duck. She turned this into this, and everything is handcrafted, so it's quality. She made his mask in like 3 hours for his video shoot. You can come by and make stuff yourself, or you can go to the website and have her make everything for you.
At Decomposed Clothes, you get the best. No sublimation, no factory pressed.
That song that that we got to have a song like that to get the white people to buy into it too. But we're in the D. We should have a go-go. Real estate probably got to fix that. But now look, here's my D Cup Customs cup right here. Shout out to Doreen. Shout out to Dimitri. Look, we're sneakerheads here, so they built my cup for me. I've got the Jordan 6 infrared on here. I got my logo. Got the We Are Something Else right there. It's got Chuck Brown on it. Didn't I tell you I like Prince? It's got the Prince love symbol on it with the cherry blossoms. Yeah, D Cup Custom. Save 15%. WRSE 15. Look, it's been a wonderful partnership with all of our sponsors and more to announce coming up after the break. But now, so I don't know what your thoughts of your early first impressions of this guy is, but it may change after this segment. All right, bro, what you got for Is It Just E?
We're gonna keep it lighthearted, if you will. Not gonna go too crazy tonight. But thinking of what I should have probably added to this would have been the auntie side of this. But anyway, fellas, but everybody, Kwajelyn, you can definitely chime in. We would love you to. Because some of us have we're up there in age, if you will. Even though we don't look that way, we definitely we take care of our face. Everybody on here, mind you, don't look probably the age that we actually are. So let's just call it what it is. But I saw this and I thought it was interesting because it's a true statement, and I would like to know which uncle are you, fellas? Are you the uncle that still wears the baseball cap? The t-shirt, the shorts and probably the latest shoes, or are you the Cedric the Entertainer with the bucket hat, the one shirt that kind of goes with everything, the plaid shorts, you know what I'm saying, that the uncles wear at the barbecue. You probably don't have the lemon pepper steppers on, the sandals with your toes out, with no socks, but you might have decided that this is now your, there's that thing like, oh, you're not supposed to wear Jordans after you turn 40, which is crazy work. I don't know. Whoever came up with that will probably never, they never had a good collection. They're not a sneakerhead. But I just wanted to know, because I think this is true. When you go to family functions, barbecues, you also, there's that one uncle that's the cool uncle, right? He gets the cool uncle tab because, he's probably, his car is nice. He's got the jewelry still. He maybe dresses a certain type of way, knows what's going on. Or are you the Cedric the Entertainer where, listen, I'm there, I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna fall asleep wherever I'm gonna be at. And I got old stories to tell you. I probably tell the same stories that I've been told for the last 15 years at each family function. So, Kwajelyn, have you seen this before? Have you noticed this as the new uncle trend that, there's the younger version and there's the one that's getting a little bit older? And then to the fellas, which one are we falling in the category of?
Let's start with you. Thoughts on uncles?
I think you need a little bit of both.
Okay.
I think you need a little bit of both. Need a little bit of new school, old school.
Okay. All right. CB is an uncle. Few times. What's your uncle? I think we got the answer already. Look what he's wearing.
I mean, I was literally like, damn, E-Rich just described everything that I'm wearing right now. Yeah. And I think all y'all know I pride myself on my uncle duties, man. So I take that shit very seriously.
All right. Put up Kendall's coming. Kendall said, Cleo's look at here.
God dang cat. drinking milk at the bowl.
I know y'all not in that toilet. No, I may be a little bit of both at times. More so, look, I got the bun. You know what my sneaker game look like. So I may be more of the AI uncle, but
I like the bun.
I'm super old school at times too, because I will throw on a slide and rock slides for a while. So a little bit of both. One uncle drives a sports car, the other one pull up in like a Lincoln Town car. One or the other. All right, bro. Where are we at now? Oh, okay, let's bring this home. Where's the graphics? All right, there we go. This one. All right, CB, what you got for that copper chop?
All right, so we talk a lot about Alma Manier like on a regular basis, but James Whitner's got a few other properties, and New Balance has a collab with one of them, the Whitaker Group, and they got a 990 V4 coming out and a 998. This collab is being referred to as, it's kind of a long name, Willful Bias for Education. Super cool. The materials are going to be premium. It's New Balance. They are dropping a kids version of the 990 V4, which will be half the price of these joints, which those are going for 110. So that's telling you that these bad boys, each pair would be 220 if you're getting them for retail. I'm assuming, we love New Balance and stuff in general. I don't know if these would be something that would like sell out or anything like that. We'll see what the numbers end up looking like. But if y'all had the opportunity to get these for retail, are y'all copping or chopping? Oh, and Carter already answered one.
All right. I'm gonna go with the. Actually, we don't even do I. I'm gonna go with the. I'm gonna cop both. I don't have a preference, but this is not priority on my list right now. I know there are other things on my list for the next 4 or 5 days that have to get copped.
I'm 998s for sure. I don't know about the V4s, but I agree with my bro. There's a couple of other. I'm sniping a couple of other shoes before I grab these. I think these might still sit too.
All right, Kwajelyn. If you had an opportunity, first of all, do you wear sneakers? You're a sneakerhead. Do you have a collection?
Probably not to the extent that you all have. No. I don't do sneakers that often, so.
All right. If you had
I like sneakers. I have my sneakers are pink and green. I wonder why.
Okay.
So just because I'm in school a lot, I don't do sneakers. I try to keep it professional and dressed up. So
okay, understood.
Sorry, I like sneakers.
No, understood. All right, so let's show some sneakers. This is shoe and tell, so you don't have to. You can bring whatever you want to bring, Kwajelyn. You can bring your book, sneakers, your favorite writing pen, whatever you want. But this is where we call it shoe and tell, but it's really show and tell. So I'm just going to pull. I wore these today, but see if the camera. Oh, look at all that dust. I went this morning for my shoes. Adidas 3 stripes, and then just.
Oh my goodness! I have to go get mine.
There you go, like one off the break, like one of the most comfortable. I mean, you got the boost soles, but Pharrell's human made, him and Migos human made collab with Adidas. I kept the white laces in, although I should do the purple. But HU. Oh, you can't see because it's green. That green gets blocked out. But yeah, one of the most comfortable shoes. Still wear them. Still the sole look. Still clean. So, and I've had these for at least 4 or 5 years. So, where are your sneakers? You don't know nothing about that. CB, what you got?
So this gave me the copper chop gave me an excuse to bring out a recent. It's green. Can't see it. This is Concepts. They did one of the best 998s of all time. The C note, and then in 2023 was the 10-year anniversary. So they re-released them. This is the re-release pair. And these joints they're sick. They're inspired by the C note. And me and our boy R Money, we've been all about those Concepts New Balance 1000s that came out earlier. And those are basically a next step up from this joint. It's like the monetary theme continuing. You know what I mean? So
All right. Got you.
And I did swap the laces out on these. These do come with some extra laces.
Okay.
I don't know. Again, we're gonna talk about the box. I guess I don't know if you can see it or not. Y'all know what it is out here on the West Coast. They had to get it. Somehow it dropped in my pocket, in my lane. Again, the WNBA had these released for their All-Star weekend. These are the orange Kobe's. Again, crazy colorway. The PEs that we've talked about with the Kobe's are just crazy. I'm definitely looking forward to the Statue of Liberty joints that Jalen Brunson wears, and of course if they release some of the ones that DeRozan wears, like it's gonna be crazy. But shout out to Nike for actually starting to put like some stock into the colorways, because we know we were getting all the all white Kobe's and all different models or something like that. So shout out to that. But these for sure is gonna go.
Yep. Okay. And then last but not least, what you got for us? Hey, I will take that. Adidas. Nice. Those are Boost soles. I know they're super comfortable. What are those NMD? What are those CB Ultra Boost? Yep.
Yeah, those look like
dope.
Looks like another cushioning, but definitely modeled after them. Look
Dope.
Cozy Boy certified for sure.
Nice. All right, look. All right. Let's bring this bad boy home. Real quick. So where you can also find us, for those who've joined us tonight. Last week you may have been looking for us on, we were blessed with an extra Thursday this month too. Last week we may have been looking for us. We weren't here. We were on Gen X TV, again, a black-owned app. Go download it on Fire Stick or your Roku devices. Shout out to Coach Kim, who has agreed to be part of the Black Business Series family. End of August, we'll have Coach Kim, the founder of Gen X TV. But you can find us there. We got Smoker Spill over there where we did Boomerang. We've done Centers. Last week we had our Soul Tales episode. That's me, Cardo, CB, E Rich, R Money, and I should have had it queued up because I knew I was going to play it.
Be Easy Shoe and Fashion Report.
But yeah, that's where we are as well. Download that app. Again, let's just come back up here because we want to thank
Part of the body that be-
what is that? Where's my hold on? We want to thank Kwajelyn. You're doing anything else tonight, but we appreciate you for spending your time here. Tomorrow, where you can find us back on Station Head Blast and Twitch, Kendall B Morning Show, 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 and 7 in the middle. After that is We Are Something Else presents The Abstract with me. We have to kind of be around 12 noonish. So make sure I chime into that. Fellas, y'all got anything up this weekend? SummerSlam.
There is SummerSlam this weekend. The nephew will be very upset if I do not come through. So got to fulfill my uncle duties.
Yeah, and then real quick, your niece told me that I got to advertise her company, Flamingo Beads.
Hey,
they may end up being a partner with us sooner or later. So, but I told her I would show it.
Everybody better buy my niece's merch, or we're gonna have problems.
And buy the book. You buy the book, and then buy the bracelets. Kwajelyn, anything up for you this weekend?
I don't have any major plans this weekend. So
good. That sounds like
always good to chill.
All right, y'all. Look, that is we got one button to hit, and hang on for a little bit after the show. Kwajelyn, just want to say, quick chat with you. But that's it, y'all. Make sure y'all like and subscribe.
Follow us on YouTube at WRSC Podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe.
Ain't coming, I ain't vision in the past, but then jump into the bag. Ain't coming, ain't.